People living in a campground in Halifax are calling on the city to keep it open all winter so they'll have somewhere to stay. They say skyrocketing rents and an increasing number of homelessness are to blame, or homes to blame, I should say. Halifax saw the highest year-over-year spike in residential rent across the country. We're talking about between 2021 and 2022. The average for a two-bedroom unit jumping 9.3%. Joining me now this morning from Halifax for a closer look at this issue is co-director of Dalhousie Social Work Community Clinic, Jeff Carabano. Good morning to you, Jeff.
Good morning.
So is this campground an efficient solution for housing people in the colder months?
It's an outside-the-box thinking solution. We're really in crisis. I think it speaks to the fact that the face of homelessness is really, really diverse. And we have to kind of be really putting every option on the table right now. The encampments are not a solution. Sleeping out rough tents, during extreme weather months is just not a solution. What I like about this is that it comes from the ground up. Like, these are folks that have been experiencing homelessness, have figured out a particular solution. It's not sustainable, but at least will provide them some security and safety. They know what they need. They're all working. So it's a really interesting proposal, and I hope that council takes it seriously.
So let's talk about this park in particular, Jeff. So this is Shuby Campground, right? So it usually closes during the winter?
Right.
Right, but in order to keep it open, certain infrastructure needs to be in place. So what challenges come with making that space available for people during the winter months?
Right. Well, I imagine it just needs to be winterized, right? I think it needs water and electricity, as well as kind of garbage removal and possibly snow cleaning and stuff like that. So I don't think it's insurmountable challenges. Again, we're in a major crisis, just like most places in Canada these days. And, this is something that can at least prevent folks from falling deeper into homelessness. The shelters are all full. There's really no other option. So, to be able to winterize, I'm not an engineer. I don't know how difficult that will be. But, you'd think with kind of, the great minds that are working in different levels of government that we can kind of figure something out.
So if this goes through and gets approval, what would happen in the spring then? So would the people staying on the campgrounds be asked to leave because it opens to the general public? How would that work? Right.
That's a good question. There is a lot being built. There's a lot of new initiatives. So hopefully by spring, by summer, there's going to be a lot more units available, and possibly there can be some kind of transfer there. I think now what we're doing is we're really in survival. We really have to kind of find the most safe, most secure spaces for everybody. And I get that camping's, like a very enjoyable space for everybody. But right now, I think we have to think about those who have just nowhere else to go.
What are the longer-term solutions here? What would you recommend?
There's a lot of really smart things that are on the table right now. I sit on a committee that looks at the federal funding for Reaching Home that, trickles to every kind of province. And, we're seeing affordable housing units. We're seeing non-government and developers together kind of building new initiatives. We have interesting new ideas for shelter. So there's a lot of kind of important and meaningful options at the table. But again, I come from a very privileged space, having a house kind of speaking about this. We've got about a year and a half out where people are going to be really suffering before these things surface. What we really need to be doing is moving some form of housing outside the private sector. We now realize that the private sector cannot provide for all, and there's a growing population that just is outside of it. So we need affordable, supportive, safe housing. Mm-hmm. And again, we're also seeing that this is not just an issue around those living rough on the streets. This is an issue for lots of different populations now. So we have to really, have a lot of options on the table.
Jeff Carabano, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We appreciate your insight.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.